Yes. This is the BumCast presented by Windy City Sports Cards. I am your host, HBIC, the head bum in charge, along with Baloney, the Southside bum, and a returning Dougie. Fresh. I don't want to say fresh off the boat, but fresh off the plane.
Hey.
Yeah, fresh off the plane might be the only thing fresh about me. These underwear stink. They stink.
Oh man.
It's been a day of traveling. But yeah, and I don't know, man.
How long was that flight?
It's 12 and a half hours.
Damn. What's nonstop?
No. I had to break it up. Yeah,
okay.
like dude, nonstop was like an extra like $350 a person. So yeah. So
yeah, but a trip that long, you kind of need like a break in between, right? So what'd you do? LA? You stop in LA?
Yeah, we stopped in LA. On the way there, we stopped in Seattle. LA on the way back. I'm pretty sure that I am never gonna fly into LA again. LAX is a shithole. It really is.
Here we go. We're getting political again. We know everything that's happening in LA, and now Dougie Fresh is
dude. It is the Spirit Airlines of airports. Dude,
that bad, man.
Yeah, that bad, man. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Like, I mean, I fly like a lot of different brands. I don't fly Spirit, but everything else I just take whatever's cheapest between United, American, and Southwest. And so we were doing American on the way back. American might be the new Spirit, dude. Like that.
I heard a lot of bad things about American Airlines.
It isn't necessarily the airline or the staff. It's the people that fly, dude. On the way from Hawaii to LA, it was awesome. Empty flight, dude. I had a whole row to myself. The kids were able to like run up and down the aisles. Everything was good until they fell asleep. LA to Chicago was a completely sold out flight. They were begging people like credits to try and get them to move flights. I sat next to this guy that makes like Darnell Wright look like a little brother to this kid. This dude was massive. Okay. He's getting on the flight at almost 10 o'clock in the morning with a bag of fried chicken. There's no fried chicken in the airport. This dude brought a Ziploc bag of fried chicken on the airport on the plane with him. He's sitting in the middle row. I'm on the end. Family's got the other three on the other side, and this dude's wolfing chicken at 10 o'clock in the morning next to me.
I'm breakfast of champions,
dude. I thought this was like Soul Plane for a second, dude. That's what it reminded me of.
Are you just mad he didn't share with you? Would you have taken a piece of fried chicken if he was like, "Hey, you want a leg or a wing or a drum or something?"
If he had a thigh. See? I'd get on it or whatever.
I think Dougie's just mad he didn't bring his own chicken.
Yeah. But dude, it was just, you know how like fried chicken is when it's cold, you know, like it starts flaking everywhere. There was shit everywhere, dude. There was shit everywhere.
I once got on a plane with someone brought like a garlic pizza on the plane. You want to talk about like straight to jail right there, man. Like you just walk into the cabin and you're just like, like punch the face of fucking garlic.
I'm with Joey P. You don't know miserable until you fly Volaris from Midway to Mexico. Because if you think fried chicken's bad, these ladies bring an entire meal. And I'm talking, it could be menudo, it could be pozole, it could be enchiladas and stuff like that. And that's fine. That's all delicious food. But when you got like the Mexican cheese that they're grating on the thing right there, it's
right in the seat.
Yeah, right in the seat.
Seaside guacamole.
Yeah.
They're doing that on the plane? I'm sorry, I haven't been on a plane in years, so.
Dude, I used to fly like way back in the day, Air Mexicana, when that was a thing.
Yeah, La Mexicana,
yeah. I feel like that was kind of like the white version of like Mexican air flight. So am I right? Or
yeah, I guess. I'm just saying, like, we got people in the comments saying like this guy's complaining about his trip like 2 minutes after he hops on the podcast. But yeah. I got breaking news to you, Dougie, and this is something I feel like we've talked about this maybe post-COVID. There is no good airline anymore. You could talk about American being Spirit and Spirit being Southwest and Southwest being Delta and United. They all suck. There's not a good airline unless you're paying like crazy money and
Fly Emirates.
Yeah, flying. Yeah, Qatari Airways.
Qatari, yeah.
Like we ain't got
15 grand business class seat.
Yeah. I saw the tip the other day from Big Cat on how to travel with children. Did you see that?
Fly private.
What a hell of a tip.
Yeah.
A hell of a tip.
Tremendous hack. Fly private.
Make enough money to fly private.
I mean, he's not wrong. That's probably the easiest way to go about it.
Yeah, he's not wrong. So, but dude, there were a couple weird things that I haven't talked to you guys about Hawaii or whatever, and I figured I'd give it a chance here, talk to you guys about it. Two things that I found really weird. It's just one I'm gonna throw out real quick. In Hawaii, they pay people extra to work the day shift instead of the night shift because so many people like to surf and be on the beach and everything like that. So you get paid a premium the other way around instead of working night shift, day shift. So I thought that was a little weird. Also, they have these all-way crossings. Have you guys ever seen these?
No.
It's pretty much like all traffic stops for 45 seconds and it's just chaos. You can walk whatever direction it is.
That's like I've seen that in like Japan, like in Shibuya or whatever, where the same thing happens. Traffic stops and it's just like 6 ways of people walking. And it's like you better run until the lights happen again. So yeah, that seems pretty cool. You should have videoed that. That seems fun.
Oh, I can't. It's chaos, dude. Like you're running into somebody almost every time because nobody's paying attention. Everybody's looking at their cell phone and they know the direction that they're going. You just got to watch out for them. So those were weird. I also was like, that would never work in a big city because nobody would have the patience to wait 45 seconds for people to cross. That's how it is.
It works in Japan though.
Try that in Chicago.
Yeah, try that in Chicago, dude. It'd be like running over a protester at that point, dude. It's crazy. But those were a couple weird takeaways.
So no raw dogging on the plane?
No, dude. But everybody was talking about it, and I saw a couple people doing it, and yeah, it's just weird. Have you guys ever raw dogged it on an airplane?
Last time me and Julie flew to Vegas, it wasn't necessarily a raw dog.
Okay.
But before I could even open my phone or tablet or whatever, and I usually fly with AirPods, the guy next to me started talking to me, and we ended up talking about everything in life for the entirety of a flight from Midway to Las Vegas. Julie was like, what the hell was that? We talked the entire time. I didn't know this guy. I didn't even get this guy's name. But he was like at one time movie producer, and then he asked me about the podcast for a little while. We were talking Chicago sports, and I was like, it was either the weirdest or gayest thing I ever did. But I just talked to this dude for 3 hours straight.
Wait, hold on a second. This sounds just like Fight Club, where he's talking. You're just talking to yourself, basically.
It could have been. I was drunk. We did a couple airplane beers. Maybe I was talking to myself.
Did you post on Reddit under Lost Connection or Misconnection?
Yeah.
Dear guy I talked on the plane with for 3 hours. I would very much like to continue our conversation. Please DM me. Slide in them DMs. I'm gonna be honest. I thought you guys were talking about like not wearing shoes on the airplane when you said raw dogging it.
Oh no, people take flights, and this is like a big thing on like Instagram and TikTok right now. People are purposely taking flights, not bringing a book, magazine. You can't check your phone. It's almost like Putty from Seinfeld. There's an episode of Seinfeld where he did this. You just look straight in the back of your seat, and you got to raw dog it the entire flight.
Oh, just put a bullet in me right there, man. I can't.
Dude, I'm telling you, like people were actually on the flight to Hawaii, like timing themselves, seeing how long they could last doing it. And I was just like, this is the dumbest thing ever. And then, I saw a whole bunch of different things. And then I saw Putty actually did a video on that. Did you see his video? Yeah. He was just basically like, listen, you're up there with those. All you got are your thoughts. So you got to be mentally prepared for this shit. I was like, a lot of you aren't.
Well, Dougie, I want to say not only welcome back, but thank you for drinking every single beer in Hawaii.
Go watch those. Go watch those videos, people. After that.
I still got a few more to upload. I just couldn't. There wasn't enough time. dude. But like, I was shocked, dude. I knew that there was beer, but I didn't know there was beer like that, dude. That was an awesome experience, and the readiness available, and the ABC stores just having solo like single cans to where you could buy one single can of the beer.
Ooh, I like that.
That's
Hell yeah, dude.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't know if I ever seen like Hawaiian beers besides Kona, like
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah,
over at Bidney's, but some of the ones that you would try like Maui Brewing Company and the one with the fancy can arts that you were always showing.
Yeah. Lulu.
Yeah, like it's like, man, I wish import some. So welcome back, Dougie.
Thank you.
You mentioned earlier about sitting on the plane next to fried chicken, and this kind of leans into something I saw that's rolling out tomorrow, actually, for everyone with Taco Bell. I don't know if they're a taco joint anymore, because they're going on the crispy chicken journey now. They did the chicken nuggets recently, and now looks like we got some chicken tenders, a all new crispy chicken taco, crispy chicken strips, crispy chicken burrito. Are you fucking with some Taco Bell crispy chicken?
I give anything a shot once. I'm just trying to see how many items you got in your bag up there. Seems like you got a pre-order going.
Oh, yeah, that was from
50 pre-order items for Jason. That's a regular Monday afternoon.
That was on the cart from when for the tailgate last week. Ordering 50. I was trying to see if I could schedule a pickup for that, which is also why we bummed them last week for not being able to schedule a pickup. So stupid. But crispy. I gotta be honest, guys. I am not fucking with this. This is not in my Taco Bell wheelhouse. I have not tried the nuggets yet, and I don't think I'm going to Taco Bell for crispy chicken strips or even like fried. I think like for me, fried chicken in like a taco burrito just seems sacrilegious to me.
You know what's sacrilegious, Jason? You calling Taco Bell a taco joint. That's how you started this whole conversation. Is like we can't call Taco Bell a taco joint anymore because they're serving burritos. Get out of here with all of this.
No, I'm just saying, like, you got the California burrito, which got the French fries in it, which I feel like is passable. It's plausible, but and maybe fried shrimp tacos, but fried chicken for me, I don't know. I can't get behind this. I think this is going to be a miss for the Taco Bell.
Yeah, I think it's just like everything else in food right now. Everyone, this has been a thing for like the last 4 or 5 years. Everyone's going hard on the fried chicken or like the chicken sandwiches, the Popeyes, the Raising Cane's, the Chick-fil-A's. I feel like, chicken is just on a heater. And it's just Taco Bell's version to try to get in on it. But no, I am not fucking with it.
The only reason why I'd fuck with it is because they low key look like the Jewel chicken tenders. Those things are bangers. The Jewel chicken tendies.
Cheap Chicken Monday, I do fucks with. I like the hot. I do a mix of hot and the honey chicken. You mix them together. You kind of get one of each. Those are delicious.
All right. Before actually, let's play an ad from our sponsor real quick.
Who's got the podcast on? Bumping those views up.
Oh, that would be because there's something I want to say.
Okay, all right, let's play an ad. We'll play an ad and then
play the ad real quick. The BumCast is proudly sponsored by Windy City Sports Cards, who specializes in buying and selling all things related to Chicago sports. Whether you are a diehard fan of the Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, White Sox, or Cubs, they have you covered with an extensive selection of sports memorabilia and collectibles. In addition to Chicago-focused items, they also offer a vast selection of sports trading cards and memorabilia from your favorite teams and players. So visit their online store at 312WindyCitySportsCards.com to find exactly what you are looking for to complete your collection or discover a new favorite. All right, guys, this this World Series reunion autograph signing from Elite Icons is just, it's getting crazier and crazier. This week, they announced a whole bunch of new signings. So on Sunday, July 13th, 9 a.m. at the Hyatt Regency, McCormick Place, 2333 South Martin Luther King Drive. It's a White Sox 2005 World Series reunion signing, and they just announced Ozzie Guillen is going to be in attendance. The man himself, he will be attending, and but it didn't stop there.
No,
we got Hawk himself. Hawk is going to be in attendance. I might have to go for this just to talk to Hawk.
That was going to be my comment. Was this all sounds awesome. I would like to get all of the autographs, like meet a couple of the players, talk to Ozzy and everything but the fact that Hawk is going to be in attendance, that's almost like it's must watch. You must go.
Yep. Hawk Harrelson. And then also now Jose Contreras.
Ooh.
And John Garland. They already announced Sweaty Freddy.
Yeah.
There's one more guy missing. And
yeah,
I hope they're bringing him, saving him for a last announcement. But we got AJ Pierzynski, Jermaine Dye, Joe Creedy, and a rare autograph signing also from Juan Uribe. So make sure you bring your Coke cans to have them sign. And then also a whole bunch of the White Sox 2005 players. But yes, make sure you get your tickets at eliteicons.biz/shop. And you want to those autographs are going to be great. Get whatever you need for a bat, a flag, a jersey, whatever you're missing. Get those autographs and go shoot the shit with some of our favorite championship players. So
honestly, I've been wanting to talk about this real quick. Elite Icons, they're doing what this White Sox should have done this year for Sox Fest.
I've seen that a lot. I've seen that a whole lot.
I mean, seriously, like miss ship, perfect opportunity. So, cheers to them for stepping up and giving the fans what they want, because this is awesome.
All right, so before we move on, Peter, you mentioned who is in the podcast boosting up the numbers. And I want to say it was me because I remembered and I want to bring it up. The chat now has the rankings.
Yeah.
And I was trying to see who's number one. And right now we got Joey P as number one. So if you want to be crowned king of the bums, king of the commenters,
I know, but can you turn it down though?
Yeah, you didn't have to have the volume on full blast.
Oh, sorry, that was my fault. That was my fault. It's just that's a little amateurish of me, but yes.
You're getting high on your own supply right now.
You know what it is when callers you ever hear when callers are calling on the radio?
Oh yeah, turn your
radio down.
Oh, turn your radio down. This is not going to work.
So maybe throw in some comments, maybe throw in a super chat or two. Get yourself that crown, and again, we're going to now Sam's just spamming the comments. So
I know, and I probably shouldn't have clicked them all because I don't know if he gets extra points for that or not. I don't even know how these rankings work because Gordo super chatted multiple times last week, and apparently his money was no good because he was nowhere near the top of the ranking.
This is like the Gabriel Male Friends power ranking. It changes week to week.
It really is. You never know how it's going to turn out, but Johnny will be somewhere in the top 10, even though he hasn't commented here.
All right. So, yes, like I said, throw us a super chat if you love us. All right, Peter, we got some headlines.
Yeah. First headline, no real graphic or anything because it doesn't need it, but the Stanley Cup finals. I know the entire playoff series has been awesome. Joey P and Dougie have been talking about it nonstop. But I have been watching the Stanley Cup. It's crazy. It's the craziest finals that I can remember. Overtimes and comebacks, and it's been pretty wild. So I wanted to get Dougie's take only because you've been on vacation. But I imagine you're still watching all the games, correct?
I have been watching the better part of the games because these games are pretty much cashed out and over by 5 o'clock. I mean, dude, this. Hawaii was basically like when you were young and you fell asleep to ESPN, and you woke up and it was Sports Center just playing over and over and over again. That's all Hawaii is after 5 o'clock. So it's just nothing but highlights. There's no live sports at all, pretty much. But with that being said, I have watched as much as I have been able to. And yeah, it's been awesome. As you said, it's one of the better finals that I can remember of recent date. I mean, last year's was pretty good too. You know, it's hard to top going back to 7 unless you go back to 7 again. I'd love to see it. It's been a little bit least exciting for me because I couldn't bet on any of it thanks to Hawaii and their stupid gambling rules. I've been venting a little bit of that, but yeah, if for the most part, it's been a absolute crazy finals. It's been a crazy playoffs in general. For the most part, every year in the Stanley Cup, you're going to get that one round or that one matchup. A lot of the matchups have been really, really good, and yeah, I'm just excited to see what's going to happen. I don't want Florida to win. I'm telling you right now, I want Edmonton to come, and I want two.
You want what?
Yes, I want. I want 2 hard, just kicks in the teeth. I want the Florida Panthers to lose like 5-1 the next game and like 7-2 the next game.
I'll tell you how like awesome these NHL finals are. One, it's like wrestling, like fight forever chant going. Yeah. But my wife, who outside the Blackhawks could give 2 shits about hockey, was like, "Are the NHL finals on tonight?" Like they're that good. She wants to watch 2 non-Blackhawk teams play against each other. So that's how you know they're really good, when like my wife is like has a vested interest in watching these finals, especially the way the last second empty net, goals are coming up.
16 seconds or like 20 seconds left. There's been multiple.
Florida 3 goals first period, and then the comeback from like awesome finals. Fight forever.
I would say like the hockey playoffs, they're like up there when it comes to like, when it comes to the playoffs. I feel like they're always good. It's always like must-see TV. And depending on who's playing, like obviously Dougie mentioned it, it's been really great this past Stanley Cup. But I've always liked hockey playoffs, even if the Blackhawks are not in there. I think it's just great TV to watch. Like I said, depending on the matchups, but most of the times everything's all good. Like I think not a lot of people give hockey playoffs a lot of credit. You got the NBA finals and stuff like that and whatnot, but I have always liked hockey when it comes to the playoffs. I think it's just very underrated.
All right. So, Dougie, you talked about not being able to bet in Hawaii, and that was hampering your fun. Yeah. It was just announced they're going to be hampering all of our fun because Illinois is taxing our bets. And I was going to ask you, bozos, because of your 50 cent 1,000 times parlay, is that going to stop you from doing the 50 cent bets when you're getting taxed 50 cents for your...
I need to see the details. Is it per like overall transaction bet, or is it per leg? Because if Illinois might just be like, yeah, we want per leg.
Imagine getting taxed per leg. I'd be laughing at you guys. I almost want it to happen because I don't do the parlays.
That would suck.
I'd be laughing at you guys.
Dude, if it was, you better believe, dude, whoever it was the head of it, whether, I don't know, who's the head of this whole thing? Is it JB or who's?
It was someone in the Illinois, like, Congress or state.
I'm 100%. If it ends up they tax per leg, I am 100% doing the Scooby-Doo rip off the mask and baloney be behind it, dude. 100%.
You know what? Why don't they make a compromise? At least let us bet Illinois college teams. They don't allow us to do that in Illinois. Right. Why don't we have a compromise? If you want to put that in there, let us bet at least the Illinois college teams.
All right. So if for any politicians listening right now, Johnny, if I were to tell you tomorrow you could bet Illinois football and Illinois basketball immediately, how much are you willing to pay per bet tax-wise? 50 cents, $1?
Well, again, I gotta. It depends. All right. I mean, I probably will put bets in. The first time when I found that out, I was all fucking. The Illini were number 1 at the time, and I was just
10%.
10%.
No.
Yeah.
But,
That's
I would
hurt
put
my
bets in.
spirit.
No, but they're not. They're not. I don't think they're gonna do it. I don't think they'll ever do it.
But here's the thing, dude. If they're gonna juice us, right out of the gates on stuff, then we shouldn't have to pay taxes on our winnings.
Ooh, yeah.
Good
let's
luck.
still-
Good luck arguing with that one.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, how are you gonna hit us on both sides of the coin? Like
I'm gonna be
Again,
very
double-fisted,
curious
buddy.
to see though that now with the actual amount that's come out, if how much is that going to deter like the casual bettors who are like throwing a couple bucks, $5 here. It's definitely not going to matter the people who are doing $100 bets, $50 bets, that. But for the people who are throwing sprinkle here, sprinkle there, maybe doing like a $1 plus 17,000 parlay,
Dinger Tuesdays.
Yeah, Dinger
Yeah.
Tuesdays. Like, I'm very curious to see how much that's going to be a detriment now for people who aren't going to be like, yeah, I'm not. There's a chance I'm going to lose this bet anyway. So why am I going to give Illinois more of my money? So it's going to be interesting to see how much lobbying FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, how much they're going to push, how much they're going to start pushing back when they start seeing like the lower bet amounts potentially starting to decrease.
Yeah.
Prez got a good comment. What the fuck kind of economy boost do they expect to get from this? It'll just be like the high weed taxes. Everyone just starts going to Indiana and Michigan. And yeah, like you mentioned, like the big gamblers and the people that, actually care like day to day about gambling, they're going to keep going, right? They're going to keep doing what they're doing. They're going to get taxed what they're taxed, but it is going to deter, the casual people, the bum bettors where like, hey, I want to toss a couple dollars or, 50 cents on this parlay, all of that stuff. That's going to go out the window. You're not going to want to do that when you're getting taxed on both ends. Like Dougie said. Yeah, I've been doing like on Saturdays, a White Sox and Chicago Fire double win. It's a good odds because they never win either one of those teams. They've never won, but I'm like, yeah, that's just for fun. That's going out the window.
I have a feeling this is going to go the same way as the soda tax did 10 years ago or wherever it was, where that thing lasted. That thing lasted like 6 months, and they were like, "Sorry, everyone." All
right. Do you think the gamblers of Illinois can make enough of a stink about it compared to the fatzos of Illinois that got really upset about the soda tax?
It's the same group.
It's the same people. Venn diagram's the same.
Right. It's a circle inside the circle.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, I don't even think it was the fatzos that got it. I think it was like Big Coke and Big Pepsi that.
They got the money. They got the money.
It's going to be FanDuel and DraftKings and Rivers and all them are going to be, once they see, they're going to be out there in full force with the lobbying. So
I mean, you saw all the bars as soon as the news hit. You saw all of the Barstool guys starting their videos, making the petitions. Make sure you sign up, like to be against it and stuff like that. They're gonna need a lot more of that, like, and not just Barstool, but like anybody that has advertisement with like a casino, bet, sports book, anything like that. Like, you got to mobilize those people.
Yeah. I knew they threw that tax into the Illinois budget. I would like to know if anyone does who that author is, so we can go hog tie them and
bum of the week. Somebody in the comments, please look that up. We can bum of the week.
Name so we can
at the end of the show.
Oh yeah, put it on the turn.
Start an active campaign against that person. All right. So, anyways, Dougie.
Last thing about hockey. Last quick thing about hockey. We had a trade last Friday. Victor Soderstrom goes to Boston, and then we get Ryan Mast and the 7th round pick. Does this matter, Dougie? That's quick.
No, it doesn't matter.
All right.
It doesn't matter. In my opinion, you're trading a defenseman that's never going to make it out of the AHL for a defenseman that's never going to make it out of the AHL. The only thing you got is a lottery pick with the 7th.
Yeah,
and when I shouldn't say lottery pick, lottery ticket. So you're just hoping whatever. So.
Speaking of bets, fucking Washington Nationals let the Colorado Rockies keep winning and ruining my bets, man.
I don't know what
you
keep texting us about the Colorado Rockies, and I'm here to tell you, I don't give a shit.
They're supposed to be worse than we were last year. They keep winning now. That's the team I need to bet against. I can't bet against the Sox anymore because
I feel like you're mushing them Like you're now having them win because you keep on betting them to lose.
Fuck, you're right. I gotta stop betting against the
You sound like
Rockies.
Krusty the Clown when he betted against the Harlem Globetrotters. Like they were due. That's what you sound like right now.
Is it bad that I don't want them to get the record? I want the White Sox to keep the record.
Oh no, I think all White Sox fans,
Okay.
at least the ones I know, I feel like they all are rooting for the Rockies to get better because I want to own the shitty record.
Yeah,
I want the White Sox to have that embarrassment for more than a year.
Right.
At least until Jerry sells the team and Justin Ishbia takes over.
Right.
I want that stink, that scarlet letter to be on the White Sox.
Cool.
All right. One thing that last headline, something that just came across the ticker while we were getting ready for the show. The Chicago Fire set out the first renderings of the 78. They had an awesome video. It was about a minute long. I didn't clip it, but I got the highlights here in picture form. And I just want to get your quick takes on what the 78 might look like with Chicago Fire as their tenants. So that's the first pick. First thing you notice, Jason, what do you think? What do you notice?
Where are the fucking parking lots?
Oh, I was going to say tents. Tents is what I noticed.
Well, is that a tailgating lot? Because I can get behind that then.
Jason had been a big proponent is we need to bring back tents in lot B. And I'm like, this is like a little quick fuck you to anybody that tailgates at the White Sox parking lot because there's goddamn tents everywhere. This is the one that I saw. See, more tents, but you got the river there. You got a river walk, and then you got the stadium. People are calling it the Firehouse. I don't mind that. It seems like a cool, we're going to the Firehouse. That works. Thoughts, Johnny? Johnny, you're the artiste of the group.
I like it. I think, when this comes, what is it, 2028? When all this stuff is going to come together, that's going to look great right next to the downtown area. Obviously, you're not going to see the skyline as much when you're inside the stadium, but I just like a lot of the renderings. I was looking at the videos, I was looking at everything, and I just think that having like a concert there is going to be awesome. I'm pretty sure they might have wrestling there as well too. That might be a good thing to have as well too. But I just overall, that is a great soccer stadium. I did never like the Bridgeview one whatsoever. It was very tacky to me. This looks more like a European soccer stadium that you're bringing to the United States and bringing to a fan base who is very passionate about soccer, especially the Chicago Fire. You said it yourself, I think last week, the Fire fans average around the same amount as the capacity that's going to be in the stadium. So I just think that when it comes time to open up, I think it's going to be literally fucking awesome going to soccer games now because you have, I feel like when you're at a soccer stadium, the acoustics and all that, it's loud. I mean, it's a different environment going to any other sporting event, to be honest. When you go to soccer Pacific Stadium, it's a lot better. It's a lot more rowdy. The crowd's really into it. So overall, I love everything about this. I think they hit a goal.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a home run, but yeah, they hit it.
I thought about saying the home run, but we're not talking about baseball. We're talking about soccer.
Yeah, people were talking about the water taxis. I had the tweet out there that the tailgates on the river with the boats is going to be awesome. We got to find somebody with the boat, and we got to find somebody to let us on the boat. But we will be tailgating on that river. At least I will. I'll guarantee you that much. But yeah, Johnny, like I mentioned, it looks like a European soccer stadium, which I like. It's got like the brick facade, and then like on the inside, I like that they added the Sears Tower to the background just to let you know that we're in the city. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I feel like the Fire keep nailing it, and between the announcement rollout and now these renderings, everything's on the up and up because they're one of the only franchises in the city that are actually, I feel like, moving in the positive direction. And we're going to talk about the Bears in the fall. They are too. But as a Fire fan, I'm very excited.
I will say just one quick thing, though. This is all great. I love it. Now you got to put a team on the field. You have to, like, with that ownership group, you have to get all these designated players. I feel like the MLS sometimes just allocates this to like the LAFC, to the Galaxy, to all the Inter Miami as well too. They got to stop doing this. You got to start bringing in bigger players to the Chicago Fire, because if you want that team to be as proper as just like the teams that I just mentioned, you're going to have to be bringing in a lot of top tier talents and have the Chicago Fire, you know, back to where they were back in '98. They were a very popular team back in '98 when it was their inaugural season, and they actually won the whole thing. So, I mean, I think a lot of Fire fans are waiting. They're kind of like similar to like Sox fans. You know, they had that championship in '98. They want to see something different on the field, and this is a great start. That field is incredible. Now you got to put a product on there as well too. That should be the next steps.
I think they're on their way. I think right now they are in 10th place in the East. They were in a playoff position until they lost this Saturday, but they got 6 guys homegrown from Chicago Fire players that are starters that are under 23. 3 of them play for the under 23 United States men's national team side. They're building a base, just like we're going to talk about White Sox in just a second. They're building a base that you could attract stars with. You know, you kind of got to lay the foundation. And with Greg Berhalter and the owner willing to spend money, I think the last step, like you mentioned, Johnny, is to sign a big designated player, a big star from either Mexico or Europe or something like that. I think that's the last key to all of this, but they're building everything in the right direction, right? Like their Fire 2 squad, their younger core is really, really good. And that's what you want.
Nice walk off.
It's 5 minutes to talk hockey. We need 5 minutes to talk soccer.
That's the soccer's gone too long. Dougie, we got a super chat from our buddy Jose. Need Doug to chug? Glad to have him back in the pod. Gotta get the people what they want. And while you're chugging, updated power rankings. Stephanie is number 1. She is queen of the court right now. SPF jumped into number 2 and Joey P at number 3. So get those.
SPF is the number 2. I don't think we.
Something's wrong. Something's wrong with
these
these rankings.
are goofy.
Cheers.
I don't even think I saw an SPF in the comments. Here he is, signed Gabe Bearman.
Ooh.
So yeah, I guess SPF is in the comments. And now, we got to figure out how these YouTube rankings work.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into some White Sox talk finally, because it was a crazy week of ups and downs. Started off pretty good in Houston when we won, but then went swept in Texas. I don't know if many people thought we were gonna win a lot in Texas. So I don't think we ever really played good in Texas, to be honest. But the biggest thing of the weekend, Friday, Andrew Vaughn officially gone. He is off the team. The long White Sox nightmare is done, and we can cross off another Rick and Kenny fuck up off our list. Chris Getz continues the whitewashing of Rick and Kenny's mistakes. So in exchange, we got like a pitcher who did pretty well. Aaron Savale. He didn't get the win against the Sox on Sunday, but he pushed pretty decent. 2 runs, 6 hits. So a lot of people already said that he's going to be trade bait potentially for the coming deadline. But I think with this, the writing was on the wall when they sent Andrew Vaughn down, and he immediately did not produce in AAA.
Spunk.
He didn't mash. He was hitting a paltry 211 down in Charlotte, which was only slightly better than what he was hitting here. So the fact that he couldn't get it going, I'm happy that the Brewers took a chance on him. So what do you guys think about the Andrew Vaughn trade? And get your hot takes.
Jason, you asked us the question last week on the show if we have to start thinking and giving Chris Getz his flowers. The fact that he got anything for Andrew Vaughn outside of a bag of balls, I got to give it to him. He's got a serviceable starting pitcher that Bob Nightingale says they're already shopping. But even if they don't shop him, he's an innings eater, And from the sounds of it, Chris Getz is already saying like they did this move to be able to protect some of the younger arms that, you know, are going to need rest going forward because they just haven't pitched as many innings. They've had a couple bullpen starts already. And you just need somebody to eat up inning, and he is something like that. But yeah, I didn't think they were going to get anything for Andrew Vaughn. I thought he was going to, you know, toil away in AAA, and then maybe they give him one last shot to come back up. But I'm glad that didn't happen. You just kind of clear out the dead weight and start fresh. So I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so disappointing the fact that, you know, the first two, he was a number 3 pick, and the first 2 picks was Rutschman and
Bobby Witt.
It was Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, we had high hopes for him. We thought that he was going to be good. Obviously, when he came up, it looked promising because when Abreu looked like he was going to go, that looks like that was going to be the next, you know, first baseman. And it just didn't pan out, you know, and maybe like a change of scenery might help him out. And I wish him the best. I mean, he seemed like a nice guy and all that, but it just wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if his head was in the game. I don't know what it was. It just, like, again, it just didn't pan out. So, like I said, all the best for him. I think this was the right move because it just wasn't working out here with the Sox. And again, I mean, you mentioned it. Getz keeps on getting rid of all like that dead weight that we had from the old regime. The only person that you have left is Luis Robert.
Sosa,
you know?
Sosa too.
So Luis Roberts, you know, that's basically, you know,
On his way back, baby.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was the best for all parties, and like I said, I wish him nothing but the best. But sorry, buddy, it just didn't work out.
Yeah,
Charlotte's not an easy place to hit. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't think you got to big.
Tell that to Tim Elko.
Yeah. So one thing I was happy to see that the Sox finally cut bait with Palacios.
You were waiting for that for like 2 months.
I know, but then they brought him back. He cleared waivers. They put him to Charlotte. I wish the Sox would stop doing this shit. They DFA these guys and then they just bring them back off the 40 man and put them in Charlotte or Birmingham. And I'm just kind of like, you're cutting these people because they're not good.
Yeah.
Just get rid of them. Why don't bring back the shit, man? You know, yeah. I hate that they keep doing this stuff, man. And I get that nobody wants our garbage. Rightfully so, because they're garbage. If there's no other teams in baseball that want our fucking garbage, why are we bringing it back?
Right.
That's why you have bins that get picked up every week.
Yep.
All right. If you have this type of passion about Palacios now being in Charlotte, you got to take Corey Jokes off the farm report, because that's basically what they did. And like you mentioned, it's happened before.
Damn it. All right. My argument would be is that he hasn't gotten a chance yet this season to prove if he's learned anything.
Right. Now, like when Palacios hits like 350 in Charlotte, and it's like a weighted 350 because it's Charlotte, like Dougie mentioned, you know, like where everyone's gonna be like, oh, maybe Palacios, give him another chance. This like you mentioned, it happens all the time.
Well, and that's why I had the tweet out yesterday about Elko, and they showed the highlight reel that he got 3 hits, and you know, immediately he goes back down to Charlotte, he starts mashing. And I'm like, him being a 4A player is gonna crush me, and I feel like Tim Elko's looking more like a 4A player now, and looks like Brooks Baldwin.
Yep,
he got sent back down. It hasn't been announced, but P-Knowles put that out, the screenshot that he was optioned to Charlotte. So it looks like for Sosa. But maybe now Brooks Baldwin, he was mashing before they called him up. Brooks Baldwin might be a 4A guy. And maybe Jokes is. Maybe Palacios will be. But the Sox got to stop having a whole bunch of 4A guys.
They might go to the 4H club.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, mashing in Charlotte is different than mashing anywhere else. It's fairly easy to mash in Charlotte. So, like, that's why we got a bunch of those 4A players.
Yeah. Sam Reed says there should be a fourth. Would you guys be behind that if there was a fourth instead of AAA? If there was 4A,
I mean, how much?
There is. It's called the Mexican League in Japan. We can send those guys over there.
I was gonna say one of these leagues has to allow metal bats. I want to see metal bats.
Banana ball. Send them to the bananas. There should be the 4A White Sox affiliates should be in the Banana Ball League.
Are you kidding me? They don't even do that right. They can't even hold on to the ball. Like these guys are doing like Harlem Globetrotter stuff. You think they're going to be able to hold on to the ball and do all that stuff that they do?
Corey Joe, send them to the Banana League.
No. I got relegated to the Banana League.
All right. So the other piece of news was, as we mentioned, Tim Elko was sent down, and the Sox claimed a Ryan Noda. I was like, "What the fuck is a Ryan Noda?" But they took him off waivers from the Red Sox and then called him up. And I'm immediately over the Ryan Noda experiment. People are saying that Getz is just taking any first base DH, mold that he can find and throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And you know what? That's not sticking. No, Noda.
Gotta say no to Trunks.
Noda.
But that's what I don't care. I don't care if he does this 4 more times by the end of the season or deadline or whatever, because Elko didn't work, Vaughn didn't work, and Noda is probably not a guy. Keep doing it until you find somebody. This is what the season is for. Eventually you're gonna find a fucking truffle in all of the dog shit or whatever. However you grow truffles, I don't even know what it is.
I think that's how we all are right now, or whatever. We're all like looking at Smith and we're like, "Yeah, any more of them Rule 5 guys?"
That's exactly right.
But I think at this point, we heard about it a couple weeks ago before Kyle Teel got called up about him taking grounders at first base. I think this is a perfect opportunity now for them to see if Kyle Teel can play more of first base effectively, because you don't really have any. If Tim Elko's not the guy and you're sent them back down twice already, and Noda's going to be a fucking just flashing the cup of coffee guy. What I don't know if I haven't seen any other reports out there about him fielding after besides that one in Charlotte, and I'm curious if the Sox now are going to start doing that more often and seeing if he can actually play the position.
If you were to do that, I would have kept them in AAA. You don't want to take your first reps in Major League Baseball. Like, he's never played first base in his life. So I'd rather get the Ryan Nodas of the world or someone or to tell you the truth, our first baseman currently is probably playing third base, and it's Miguel Vargas. I think Miguel Vargas is going to be the first baseman of the future more than any other of these guys.
I think you're right on that aspect, but then who do they put at third base? Is it going to be Sosa, or is it going to be
probably Brian Ramos or someone from AAA?
Ramos hasn't been really tearing up the season down there, so that's why I'm surprised that he's only batting .209 down in Charlotte. So I kind of see why they haven't given him a chance in the up here yet. But I have a feeling it's going to be either someone of the Sosa, Chase, Colston going to have to take some reps at third if Vargas is going to be the first baseman of the future.
At some point, they got to realize that they just don't have offensive players and they got defensive players, and they're just going to have to call guys up, whether they're hitting or not, just to fill in a defensive spot.
Yeah, and I think Chris Getz has talked about that, and they've shown that they're willing to sell out and just play defense, at least for this time being, until you're actually contending, and then you find some decent bats. But yeah, I guess this is like the first baseman of the White Sox used to be like the Bears linebackers, right? Like you just had like a freaking
you had a guy.
You had a guy forever since we were children. And now it's like they're just scrambling to find somebody at first base. It's just shocking. Like we're used to that happening in right field, not at first base. But
we were spoiled. We've
Yeah,
been
we were
for
spoiled
a
ever
very
since
long
Pete,
time.
ever since Pito left. It's been a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
And I mean, now that the main culprit is now in Milwaukee, so that's good.
Yeah. So in other news too, Grant Taylor was called up earlier last week, and I immediately said he was the best pitcher in the bullpen already on that team. And
You might not be wrong.
no, but he had one not so good. I mean, against the Rangers the other day, he gave up the 2 runs. But other than that, though, he's been pretty. The first 2 starts were good. So I like what I'm seeing from Grant Taylor. I think he's going to be a late end guy down the road, 8th inning potential closer stuff going forward. But definitely happy to see that making the jump from Double-A to the majors hasn't really affected him all that much.
I mean, he's still throwing hard. He's throwing like a motherfucker. As much as I want to give credit to Grant Taylor, I kind of want to give credit to the White Sox again. Now, this is me giving the credit to Getz, maybe too much. But the fact that maybe it's more Will Venable protecting him, because the first time he went out there, he went up against a 7, 8, 9 pitcher. And I feel like that's where you kind of like, they kind of want to see what he's got before you really toss him into some high leverage situations. And that was the right move. That was very pragmatic from the White Sox, and I appreciated that. The other thing, and it's something Beefloaf talked about. I think he talked about it last week or on the. I don't remember where he talked about it, but he talked about it about him getting called up and him throwing hard, but that fastball being fairly flat, and that's what that first start or like that first outing. He was getting hit. Now, obviously, a lot of those were foul balls, and kind of people were making contact on that. So that's something I'm intrigued on, like how they're going to adjust to Grant Taylor's fastball, even though it's super fast. He might need a little bit more movement to it.
Yeah. So down week, the quick homestand with the Cardinals this week, and then
just 3 games, right?
Just 3 games at home, which is I was like, that's weird. But yeah, just quick 3-game homestand and then off to Toronto. So not a great week for the Sox. I think one of the biggest things that the Sox need to improve on, and we mentioned this, that they're more enjoyable to watch. They're not getting blown out as much. Even against the Rangers, they were close, in those games. Almost coming back, forcing extra innings. Friday night, like that was good to see. Willie's boys don't quit. But they got to do better on the road. They're a completely different team at home and on the road, and obviously with a young team you expect that. But I hope there's a way that they can improve on their road winnings and figure out how to win those close games, because they're not getting blown out. They're just not getting over the hump.
Yeah, the road and just the 1-run games, right? The stat was out there where the 1-run game record is abysmal. But that was to be expected when you spend exactly $0 on the bullpen, right? And we're just going to have to eat a lot of those losses for the foreseeable future until hopefully next year, where they sign a couple bullpen arms and you bring somebody back and Grant Taylor gets a little bit more experience. And then you have a competent bullpen, because that's really what's missing, but also the timely hitting, right? I feel like runners in scoring position, especially on the road, I mean, you could set your watch to it. They're just not bringing people in. But again, young team, learning woes, that's to be expected.
Yeah. And I correct me, that was the extra innings game was Saturday, not on Friday, where they forced the.
Yeah, the Saturday game where Will Venable ran out of batters, and I was on a bus coming back from the Pope game, and I didn't understand what was happening because I was watching the game, but I had it with no volume on because the charter bus was full of old people happy about the Pope, and I'm like, what in the hell is happening? Why is there a pitcher batting? So then I close out the app, and then I go back to Twitter, and I'm like, what in the hell is happening? We might have to bum of the week Will Venable for that, but I was really confused for a second because I had no volume.
I didn't know that was possible to lose your DH, but
lost it. He just straight up lost it. They said not allowed anymore. He made a double switch. Something happened, and I was like, what in the hell?
No wonder he wanted to get out of there on Sunday after the first inning. He's like, oh, fuck this. I already
yeah.
I'm just leaving.
He
Yeah,
fucked it
just
up on Saturday. Like, you know
I'm
what?
just leaving.
I got things to do. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I think we got a super chat. Did we?
Yeah,
miss
we got a super chat from the SPF himself.
Yeah.
Nothing.
He's
He's
trying to.
nice and blank. So thank you, SPF. No, that was actually a comment to Prez.
Oh, all right. Yeah, no, yeah. Fuck Prez.
All right. And since we're gonna wrap up our Sox talk here, it's only fitting that we end it in the best way possible with the Farm Report.
I'm always gonna make me laugh.
All right, so this is the weekly Farm Report, and as always, it is last week's games, last 7 days. So it's not the season. So let's get started with Colson Montgomery here. Kind of a down week for him. He only went 3 for 16 with 1 RBI. So I feel like everybody's getting called up, but Colson, man, he's not being consistent enough to where he's going to get that shot, which I know he eventually is. July, August, they'll probably just see like, hey, sink or swim. But at this point, it's looking like it's going to be more sinking than swimming. So.
Yeah.
Stinks. Got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing either.
Yeah. I wish I was more positive on Colson. I think I've been out on him for the entirety of the season. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and hopefully he figures it out.
I mean, we're hoping that like that little like time that he had to adjust everything that was going to fix anything it looked like it was, and yeah, it's just it's hard to say because he was such like a highly touted prospect, and this is what we're looking at right now.
I mean, and to tell you the truth, maybe. I mean, the sky is falling on him, but he's still, and I know he's getting a little bit older, but like he still has time to turn it around. So we shouldn't be that like sky is falling on him, but it's getting close.
All right. So Tim Elko went back down immediately. He starts mashing a couple games, 4 for 8, 1 home run, 2 RBIs. So
it's another guy. He's going to be awesome in the Banana Ball League. He's Tim Elko, MVP of Banana Ball whenever he gets there.
He's not going to make it there, man.
Yeah. Corey Jokes, down week for him. 204 for 21, home run, 2 RBIs. Yeah. So not a good week for him, but like we mentioned, I was clamoring for it, but probably not happening this season. So
yeah, now Palacios is going to be there too. It's going to be he's there. They just got to form like an amalgamation of Palacios jokes. They're going to be awesome.
Yeah. Because like, and I mentioned too, like Brooks Baldwin, you know, like he was up, now he's going to be back down, and he had a great week. He went 7 for 12 with a solo shot. So batting almost 600 there. But Brooks Baldwin, so still good stuff, but in AAA, but not so much here. All right, so one guy we haven't talked about, but we need to talk about, Noah Schultz. Welcome to Charlotte, my good man.
Yeah.
His last start in Birmingham, 5.5 2/3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 7 Ks, 5 walks, which is still the walks are still an issue, but I like seeing the high K, like high-ish Ks. But welcome to Charlotte, my man, and I feel like a September call-up has your name written all over it.
We talked about it how long have we been doing the Farm Report now? It's been like
3 months, like 2 months, 2 months.
Yeah, so about 2 months, and we saw the progression where it was like 4 innings pitched, 4 innings pitched, 4 2/3 innings pitched, and then the last 2 times you've done this, I've made a log of it. It was 5 innings pitched, exactly 5 innings pitched, and now it's 5.2 innings pitched. That's exactly what we're looking for. The 7 Ks is great. Yeah, like you mentioned, 5 walks, he can clean up. He's got great stuff. So I'm excited to see how he does in Charlotte. And then, like you mentioned, if anything, maybe there's a September call-up for him.
Yep.
Maybe.
And then we're heading down to High A to Winston-Salem. Braden Montgomery, 8 for 25, bad, 320, 2 home runs, a triple, 3 RBIs. Good week for him. I think at this point, you know, maybe end of the month they might move him up to Charlotte, maybe after the All-Star game, but I don't think he's going to be in Winston-Salem much longer.
Well, he had those 2 weeks where they were pretty down, right?
Yeah, but he adjusted
he's had 2 good weeks. I wouldn't mind seeing him there for a little bit longer, and then him finishing out the season in Charlotte. Like I don't think fast tracking these guys is the. I mean, we saw it with Andrew Vaughn, and that was maybe too much of a fast tracking. But yeah, Braden can hit. He's like ever since you've been doing this, he's been hitting, except for those 2 down weeks. But yeah, there's no need to rush him, especially to what we talked about in Charlotte, where like his stats are gonna be skewed like up the wazoo. So maybe just keep him down in AAA AA for a little bit longer.
Yeah. So couple notes on also on the farm stuff. Number one, before Andrew Vaughn was traded, he went 0 for 11 last week in Charlotte.
That shows potential.
Get ready to learn cheese curds, buddy.
He could only get better from here.
Now some good things too in Charlotte. I was looking at some of the pitching because of with Noah being called up. I think the next bullpen guy, it also first I'm going to say Winkleman Gonzalez. He looks pretty good too.
Really?
Yeah, I'm looking at last 15 days a 1.8 ERA. So in a 1.2 WHIP, so he's doing good. I think the next guy going to be called up though is the Jairo Iriarte.
Jairo Iriarte. I thought he was having a bad year too. I'm surprised you're talking about Winkleman Gonzalez and.
No, he's been another guy doing pretty good. So year to date on him, I got the stats.
We just call him Jairo.
Yeah, he's got a nearly 6 ERA, but in the last 2 weeks, he's pitched very well. 1.5 ERA, only giving up 1 earned run. So I think he's starting to maybe figure.
So he's having a good week.
6 ERA scared the shit out of me.
No, he had for the season, but yes, but the last couple of weeks he has started to figure it out, I guess. So we'll see. But he might be another guy they give a chance in the next month or so to see what he does for the bullpen. But one thing of bad news I got to tell you guys though, Mike Clevenger has not given up a run in 2 weeks. I'm afraid that they're going to trade Savale or Hauser, and it's going to be Clevenger timeout because he's been pitching the past couple weeks, and I don't like it because for some reason Getz just wants him around in the organization. So I'm just preparing you guys.
Yeah, I don't like that.
He's pitched. He's not given up a run in 2 weeks, and
I appreciate the heads up. I don't like that you put that out there to the universe because I am a big believer in Juju, and now for sure he's gonna get called up sometime around the All-Star break, and we're gonna have to deal with it. And I was gonna make the same joke, but it doesn't work for him because not even Banana Ball wants Clevenger. He's useless to everyone except for the White Sox. Apparently, I don't like it.
No, I said it. What was it, last week or the week before? Add him to take him behind the barn report. That's what we need to do with him. Take him behind the barn.
Well, Andrew Vaughn got out of it.
Yeah, he's out there.
Right.
Yeah, we need somebody else. We need somebody else to pick on. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that was the weekly farm report with HBIC. All right. With that, let's play an ad from our sponsor.
The Originals Chickies Beef and Banquet is a proud sponsor of the BumCast. The weather's getting warmer in Chicago, and when you think of summer, you think of Italian ice. Whether you take a spoon or straw to it, or just slurp it straight out of the cup, this icy treat is the absolute perfect answer to a scorching hot day. Chickies Italian homemade ice is killing the game. They whip up the deliciousness daily using only the freshest and most natural ingredients. Trust us, it's a flavor explosion in your mouth. Don't miss out on this incredible treat with available flavors including lemon, watermelon, blue raspberry, and pineapple. 5-gallon party buckets are available. Head over to Chickies Beef and Banquet on 4152 Roosevelt Road in Hillside and tell them the Chicago Sports Bum sent you.
All right, quick update. Joey P moved back into number 1 in the rankings
Attaboy,
here.
Joey.
Shout out to
Attaboy,
Joey
Joey.
P. Our friend Steph, she got dethroned. She's no longer queen of the court. She's number 2, and SPF holding base at number 3. So keep the comments coming. Move up to be the crown. Like I said, throw a super chat in if you help you boost your rankings. And
I didn't even know how this YouTube thing started, but I do really like that we're, making this a competition, and I do like the live reports, Jason. So this is all good.
Yeah, we want you to argue for our love. All right. So Peter, you had an interesting Saturday. You were with the family. You went to the Pope Mass. And I immediately asked you when you sent the photo in the group chat of you guys on the way there. I said, "God damn, how many Fonsecas are with you?" And you said,
all of them.
Tell us, how was your Pope Mass?
It was so. I wanted to go more to, not to be like reporting live on the field, but I wanted to see what it was all about. I was excited to, spend a day at the ballpark. I'm not going to turn that down. I love the South Side of Chicago, 30 for the Shield. But it was more, I was just there for my mom. My mom really wanted to go. She was able to get tickets for the entire family, which was actually nicer than I thought. So she got them through her church, where like I went to school, St. Patricia. They ended up getting like a box suite, which was nice. So we were
club level.
Yeah, we were club level. So we took a charter bus there, and we were in like a box. I was enjoying myself. The only downside to enjoying myself was I was enjoying myself sober. So now this is the second event at the rate where I've been there without beer or alcohol concessions, and I'm calling it now. That is my second miracle on my way to sainthood, because I'm performing miracles. How I survived those things. One was a White Sox game that we got jerried real hard, Johnny. 0 alcohol there, and then I expected, especially with a Catholic crowd, I thought, people like to drink. Irish Catholics, Mexican Catholic. There's a good amount of Polish people in our like the congregation too. We all pound some liquor. So I thought at least maybe some red wine for the group, but no, it was a dry service. And I understand, right? They were going to have a mass. The event was going to end with a mass. So like you can't have people all lubed up and drunk, but it would have been nice to have a couple Modelos for my guy Southside Bob, who that they were honoring. It was a good time. It was a good time. There was some people telling stories about him. There was a guy that he went to school with that they interviewed. He's known him all his life. Did you guys know that Pope Bob likes to work on cars? He's kind of like a gearhead. He liked mechanic, and he said
he's getting better.
And he said Bob loves driving. Like that's one of the things he misses is like he ain't taking the Pope Mobile out for a spin, like he's just not driving anymore. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, he likes working on cars and he likes going for drives. But it was cool. It was a cool time.
So how was the message, the scoreboard message that he gave? What was his, give me the TLDR of his.
Yeah, it had a lot to do with trying to get it. He said it was going to be a message for the youth. So it was basically a message for the younger people in the audience to kind of, continue the faith and things like that. I will say between the Cardinal Blaze Supich and the Pope, they went pretty damn hard on this country's immigration. Like the way they went hard on it, which as someone from like 2 immigrant parents, I could appreciate. That got a lot of. I didn't know how the audience was gonna respond to that, because there's people from all races, religions, colors, and everything like that. Huge applause when they talked about that. But other than that, like it was just basically a mass. What was interesting, and I wasn't sure how it was. I don't know who logistics wise or anything like that. There was reported 30,000 tickets sold. It wasn't 30,000 people there, but it was like a regular Friday or no, probably like a Sunday White Sox game. There was probably like 17,000 in attendance.
Mm-hmm.
They passed out hosts like during communion to everyone in the stadium.
What?
Yeah. And so like they had it must have been 300 people like lined up, and like they went to each aisle, each staircase from the bottom to the top, and everyone who wanted communion got communion. I'm like, that was the most impressive thing. I was like, whoever coordinated that and did the math and did the logistics, that was awesome.
I have a question. How many times did Jerry Reinsdorf pass around the collection plate?
Glad you mentioned that, because Jerry Reinsdorf, Dougie, if you may know, not necessarily Catholic. The guy from the White Sox,
but he does love money.
What? No, it was Brooks Boyer. Brooks Boyer was the guy, like the head Sox guy there.
MC.
Yeah, and he had a speech like in the beginning of the service or whatever, and he shot his shot. He's like, because there was reports that Pope Bob, I keep calling him Pope Bob, was watching on a live stream, because this was a live stream from the Vatican. Mm-hmm. So he was watching the ceremony but couldn't attend. Brooks Boyer shot his shot. He's like, we would love to have you back in attendance to throw out a first pitch or like watch a game with the South Side faithful. And I was like, you know what, Brooks Boyer, I could appreciate that. You gotta shoot your shot whenever you get a chance.
Imagine if that would have happened. I mean, they would have to do like standing room only. I mean, that
would be a sellout. That'd be a sellout game.
Yeah,
they have to enhance those metal detectors because apparently the guns can get in the fat rolls.
I was just gonna say, could you imagine how long it would take us to get into the stadium?
They'd be given full body searches. Don't stop till you reach the back of your teeth.
But we had Obama threw out a first pitch before, and obviously you guys remember George W. Bush had like the most famous first pitch of all time, and he threw a strike. So that would be interesting if Pope Bob threw out a first pitch at the game. I think my perception of him changed. When you think of popes, you think of like, frail or not, but like, like more homely and stuff like that.
Like the cool Pope, you got.
But Pope Bob's over here working on 67 Mustangs and kind of a gearhead. I kind of feel like maybe he's got a little something in his arm.
I like that.
Yeah,
let's make it happen. We'll tailgate the shit out of that game.
Yeah, how much? You know what? Joey P put that on the. I just saw his comment. Those tickets would be so expensive. I feel
we will be tailgating though.
Yeah.
We'll be tailgating and maybe not even afford to go to the game.
I saw Joey P text us that they were already tailgating the Pope Mass.
People, so because I took the charter, like all of the buses were in lot A. Lot B, our lot J, or like it was all ADA. That was the ADA parking because there's a lot of older people, a lot of so nobody was tailgating there. But I guess lot C was the lit lot for the Pope Mass.
Nice. Last question for you on this. You said it wasn't sold out, but it was announced ahead of time as a sellout. Do you think it was because of scalpers and they misread 100%. The room?
I think there was two things. The tickets were so cheap. They were $4.99. It was basically just to cover the convenience fees and probably pay for the security and the concessions and everything in the stadium. That I think scalpers had a lot to do with it, but also people just buying them because they were so cheap. And if you know anything, maybe you say you're going to mass, but don't really go to mass. The Fonsecas have a history of that, besides my mom, of maybe saying we're going to mass, but we don't really go to mass. So I think a lot of that happened. It was a nice day. There's a lot of other things going on. Maybe some people that had tickets probably didn't go. But I think a lot of it were scalpers because they were so cheap. They were probably trying to flip them, and then they didn't sell them.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if this becomes a yearly tradition or something. Now that he's running the Catholic Church. But with the Pope being now the most famous Sox fan, we wanted to do a Mount Rushmore of celebrity Sox fans. And don't at us that we're stealing, Big Cat's bit and everything.
Yeah.
He doesn't own Mount Rushmores, okay? So this is just a one-time thing that we're gonna do here. So let's do the Mount Rushmore here.
Nice.
That's the wrong. There we
All
go.
right. So let's start off with the two obvious ones, right? So we have the current Pope of the Catholic Church and a former president that are diehard or for maybe not diehard, but guaranteed Sox fans. So I already put them up there. There's no argument to be made. Those two guys have a place on the Mount Rushmore of White Sox celebrity fans. So now I got a slideshow of about 12 people. We could go through them fast, and then we'll go back and forth. And we have to pick two out of the next 12 slides. We got to pick two people that are going to be on our White Sox celebrity Mount Rushmore. So the first one obviously is, this went crazy viral as soon as it happened. People were thinking it was fake.
Yeah. No, it's like I said, there was Getty and Reuters had their watermarks on that shit. Like Getty's not putting out a fake image with their watermark on it. So
and then a couple days later, the video came out where it was a Boston father and daughter that gave them the Sox hats. So print those shirts, Jason. Those might sell.
Yeah.
And then obviously, Obama's always worn Sox gear. He there's a million pictures of him on the internet if you just Google, Obama White Sox. So those are the two obvious ones. So the next one is recently passed away George Wendt. He's a staple in the sitcom and comedy community. There's a picture of him with Nancy Faust and then him at the old Comiskey Park. But he was a well-known Chicago White Sox fan. So any thoughts on maybe putting him in?
Potentially, but I need to see the other 9.
Okay. Next up, Chance. And we had
Missy
in the comments. At one point, I would have said Chance.
Mm-hmm.
Chance breakup was wild. I ain't saying nothing, lips sealed. I think at one point in time, he was a shoo-in for the Mount Rushmore of celebrity White Sox fans. But unfortunately, his career has derailed big time. I thought he was one of the best up-and-coming rappers. I really like Chance the Rapper's, first his demo or whatever, and then his first EP. And then it all kind of fell apart. So while if this was maybe 3 years ago, he had the collaboration hat. He had 3 different collaboration hats with the White Sox that I have one of them. One of my favorite White Sox hats. I think he was a shoo-in. Now, I'm not so sure. Johnny, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think his career is kind of because he did a concert out at Comiskey Park that sold out, that they had a lot of good artists over there when he had I was trying to think of the album when he came out with, but I just don't think he's that relevant to be
hold on, wait, stop. As someone who owns a venue who contributes beer to our tailgates, we love Chance. Chance is the best. That's all I'm saying.
I love remove all the half beers. I said the Rice Lager is the beer of the summer. I will continue to say that the Rice Lager is the beer of the summer. All right, next up.
Okay.
Derrick Rose. Southside owned Derrick Rose, Bulls legends, got the number up on the rafters now. He's a well-known White Sox fan. So do we think he deserves a spot on the White Sox Mount Rushmore?
Southsider,
yeah. Have we seen Derrick Rose in a Cubs jersey before?
So here's the deal. And I'm glad you brought this up, Jay, because I had a list originally of 20 potential White Sox fans. And I'll name one right now. There were stories everywhere about Jenny McCarthy being a Southsider Sox fan, if you Google Jenny McCarthy White Sox, every picture is her at a Cubs game doing the 7th inning stretch, throwing the first pitch, which as a celebrity, you do promotion, you got to sell yourself. I understand that. There is pictures of him, Derek Rose, throwing out the first pitch at a Cubs game. I think that's the same for a lot of the people on this list, but of the people that have said they are Sox fans, he's one of the only ones that has like openly said, I root for the White Sox.
All right. I'm leaning.
Yeah, I don't see him on Mount Rushmore though. I have my 2 shoe-in that might not be anybody else's, but he's not one of them.
Okay. All right. So just keep a tally of who you're thinking might be one of the 2.
Mhm.
Former Mayor Richard M. Daley, and realistically, all of the Daley family, they've been longtime White Sox supporters. Now, the only question I had to this, and shout out Aloha, Mr. Hand. Mr. Hand was the one, I didn't have him on my list, and I consulted Pete on a couple of these, and he's like, oh yeah, Mayor Daley. But my argument for that would be, is he big enough of a celebrity? Maybe in Chicago he is, but I'm thinking like, big picture.
Yeah, I think big picture he's not. And the way he left us with the parking meter fiasco, fuck him.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
We got another fucking like 85 years of privately owned parking meters because
I mean, one of five mayors who grew up in Bridgeport. So I mean, he's also grew up in the neighborhood as well too, and obviously his whole family is White Sox fans. Yeah, I think right now I'm just like I'm waiting to see what else you got here. Before
I got a couple more. We got a couple more.
So I'm not. Yeah.
Now, this was someone that I asked a couple people, and everyone's like, "Oh, are you going to put Jordan on the list? Are you going to put Jordan on the list?" I don't necessarily know if Michael Jordan is a White Sox fan. Obviously, he played for Jerry Reinsdorf. He played in the minors. I put this picture specifically. This is one of my favorite pictures of Michael Jordan. People say that's a camera, like there's a camera in there. I think it's just a big bag of money because that's how I imagine Michael Jordan.
That's how he got his bag.
Yeah. But my argument would like, should we put him on the Mount Rushmore of White Sox fans? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I think no. I mean, that's as much as you would think. I don't think has he ever been to a game?
White Sox
what I'm saying. Chicago.
That's
So
I want to put people that are actually at the game, living and breathing, not necessarily with every pitch, but you at least know that are like, a fan.
Hey, Beef says MJ was at Wrigley for the Bartman night.
Yeah. I know a couple Sox fans that were there that day, but yeah, no, we're not adding them.
Do you think Peter? You said that was a suitcase full of money. You think that was like his gambling winnings then?
No, so he was getting ready to pay his debts with.
All right, now this is something that I didn't know until I started researching this. George Lopez, noted Los Angeles guy, basically, has stated multiple times that he is a White Sox fan because his favorite player was Louis Aparicio. There's multiple pictures of him with different White Sox jerseys, like this on his show or just in casual conversations. I didn't think so. I don't think George Lopez is much of a celebrity nowadays, but I wanted to put this on there just because it surprised me that he was a White Sox fan.
It did surprise me. The first time I ever saw this, the one cool thing about that is if you look at the authentic tag on the bottom there, that little tag that's under below that is a signification that it was either a game issued or a game worn jersey. So that's a
fun fact from Dougie. I like that.
So that's pretty cool. If it is indeed Mark Burley's.
Prez is in the comments saying all these guys have done the stretch and thrown out the first pitch at Wrigley. Yeah, everyone's done that. I understand that. If they asked the Bums to do that, Prez, I probably wouldn't tell you. I'd do it.
I'm not doing it.
All right, wait. Would you going back to that Wrigley?
Okay.
would you pull the ultimate heel move and say root for the White Sox?
Yeah, dude. You know
Would you
what?
put
And
the ultimate heel move?
I would for sure do that, and hopefully, like Steve Mongo McMichael, I would get kicked out of that place.
Love it. All right. Next week was that Kevin Durant?
That's Kevin Durant. And now we're getting to the people that I think maybe are wearing the hat more as fashion than fandom. But if you Google it, apparently he does root for the White Sox. I don't know how hard he roots for the White Sox, but Kevin Durant, all-time NBA great. I would, and I'm not saying top 10, but he's in, probably the top 50 now. I know they did the top 50 when we were younger and Scottie Pippen made it. Get Pippen off this list. Durant's probably better.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah. I'm not including him.
Passion fan.
Comments?
Yeah. Nope.
All right. That was simple enough. I was saving that for the very end. The last one, again, this is more.
I was waiting for NWA, Death Row to be in this.
So this is the last slide. And then we could go back and you guys could pick. But realistically, the NWA made the White Sox hat famous. All of the West Coast rappers at one point or another are wearing White Sox gear. Mm-hmm. But zero chance they're rooting for the White Sox. This is a fashion thing. This is not a fandom thing. I love Ice Cube. I love Eazy-E for what they did for the hat. But they're not White Sox fans. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah. All right, so go back to your first two. I think we had Obama, we had the Pope. Mm-hmm. I think from my aspect, we got to put George Wendt.
Yep.
On there. I mean, he did the commercial, good guys wear black and everything. Like he's been a fan true and true. I'm putting him RIP. Put him on there, and then I'm probably myself gonna go with D Rose as the true Southsider.
I like that. I like that.
Chicago kid.
Dougie, Johnny, thoughts?
I could say mice for last because there's actually some people on this list that you did not mention.
If you're talking Steve Dahl, Dahl's not a celebrity.
No, I'm not. I got a really good one that I think a lot of people don't know about. But Dougie, if you want to go first, that's fine.
Yeah, Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah,
again, he's been dead for 20 years. He was in 4 movies.
Yeah, but I mean,
what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm sorry, he's fucking pissed, so he's not a part of the list.
Yeah, you think he's more famous than Kanye West? Kanye West is a psychopath. We're talking about famous people.
Come on, get out of here. He is famous. He's a famous actor.
All I'm saying is, dude, I used to tune into games like when they were playing late night at, either Dodger Stadium or whatever. He was rocking his White Sox stuff behind home plate. So I give that dude all the credit in the world. That's a real fan. I don't, dude. How many times has Obama showed up to a game? I mean, you could say that too. He threw out a first pitch, whatever.
He did say Comiskey Park wrong.
Dude, hey, I'm just saying, I've never really met a politician that I've liked. So he can stay on the Mount Rushmore because he is super famous or whatever. So don't shit on mine. Michael Clark Duncan. He's on there, and I'm also giving one also to Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac, I know, has been seen wearing Cub shit and everything like that, but Bernie Mac is on my.
Oh, I'm sorry, Peter doesn't put it on there because he's fucking dead.
No,
yeah, yeah.
Look I had Bernie Mac as my number 5th guy on this list. Google Bernie Mac White Sox. There is zero pictures of him throwing out a first pitch, even though he did it once. There's 0 pictures of him in a White Sox jersey or a hat or anything else. So
I just remember him. I remember him.
Yeah, he's a quote unquote Sox fan, but he's not at the stadium. He's not there. There's 0. I couldn't even find a picture of him in White Sox gear. I was gonna put a picture of him with the Mr. 3000 thing. Only just to I love Bernie Mac. No one loves Bernie Mac more than I do. Original Kings of Comedy is fucking amazing.
You Google Bernie Mac White Sox. The AI overview says Bernie Mac, a Chicago Southside native, was a big fan of Chicago White Sox. and was known to be a supporter of the team.
All right,
That's
now
the
click
first
on but then click on images.
No, there's nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing.
There's a picture of Nick Madrigal.
So Beef is in the comments and he says, "This is how you realize White Sox ain't got no famous fans. This is a depressing segment. This is why I wanted to do it because as soon as the Pope hat like hit the images, I had to tweet out to you guys or the text out to you guys. I was like, we got to figure out like who the most famous White Sox celebrities are." And unfortunately, the guy in the comments might be one of them because they got their own bobblehead. Bernie Mac ain't got no White Sox bobblehead.
Dude.
It's crazy. It is sad.
All right, I'm gonna name a couple. Dougie, you named one. I probably would say George Wendt. George Wendt. I agree. I think George Wendt is in. He grew up at Beverly. He's done a couple Sox commercials, not just one, but he's done a couple. So I got to put George Wendt in there because he was a big White Sox fan. Couple notable people that I'm going to put on here: Richard Roper, a big White Sox fan. Mr. T, who grew up in the South Side, also a Sox Side fan. But I'm going to put, and this is probably going to be surprising, is John Hughes. Now, the reason why I want to put John Hughes on here,
that's a good
he's
one.
a big Sox fan. Did you realize that in the Breakfast Club, if you look at the janitor, what he's wearing underneath his shirt is it's that 83 Sox shirt. He tried to do everything he possibly can. Only the Lonely, when he had John Candy and I can't think of the other girl's name. Molly
Ringwald?
No, Molly. I can't think of her name, but he actually did a shot of when John Candy and her were in the park at Old Comiskey Park having dinner. I don't know. I keep on saying this as a lot of people don't know about that scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off when they were at Wrigley Field. That was supposed to be Old Comiskey Park. The reason why that didn't happen is because the Sox, the filming wise, it didn't work out. So he had to use Wrigley Field instead. He wanted to use Old Comiskey Park at the time to shoot that shot with Ferris Bueller and obviously Cameron. So he was always a White Sox fan. Not to let people know he wasn't like in the crowds or anything like that, but in his movies he did dedicate a lot of that stuff as White Sox fans and little bits and parts and pieces of it. So I'm gonna say John Hughes. Mine's gonna be John Hughes.
I like that, Johnny.
I like the John Hughes one. I forgot about Roper and Roger Ebert too. Roger Ebert was a big White Sox fan. I did have Mr. T on there, and then I took him off only because the same thing happened to me. There's way more stuff with him with Cubs gear on than Sox gear. The only Sox gear I could find of Mr. T was when he did a segment when Conan O'Brien came to Chicago and they went to the south side of Chicago.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
At the Sox game. But other than that, there was a lot of Mr. T Cubs gear. And if you're a White Sox fan, maybe you don't wear that stuff. Yeah. No, I remember. I think to wrap this up, I think George Wendt for sure, right? He's our number 3.
Yes.
And I think I would agree with you for now until we get someone more famous. I think I'm putting Derek Rose on there. John Hughes is a huge name. I like John Hughes a lot. I thought that's a really good pick, but I'm going Rose. Definitely not Michael Clark Duncan.
Because he's dead.
Because he was just too big of a fan. By the way,
he's a fan.
You may have seen me laughing. I was looking for a Bernie Mac White Sox photo, and somebody posted that.
That's just
by
mean.
the CTA blue line.
All right, we got one more thing of White Sox thing to talk about, and that is in 2 weeks, June 28th, Sox Giants Whiskey at Comiskey. We're back with the OG. Not the Southpaw tailgate. It's the Whiskey at Comiskey, so you can expect the good stuff. This one is fully loaded, ladies and gentlemen. We got Maker's Mark. Our friend Greg's going to be on site. He works for Maker's Mark. He is going to be there on site pouring some tasty pours, maybe bringing a couple special bottles. We don't know yet, but he'll be talking about all things Makers, giving out some swag. Our friends at the Other Half Brewery will be giving us some beers as well. And Firewater's coming back. So get ready for all the tasty meats in your mouth. The moist meats will be in your mouth. We got slow smoked pulled pork, cheddar jalapeno brats, slow smoked chicken quarters, smoky mac and cheese, and slaw and more. So this is going to be a fully loaded tailgate, and we're hoping that it's not like last week where everybody bakes in the sun. Maybe a little overcast. I don't like be baking in the sun for a tailgate with some tasty bourbons.
I still have that tan line.
A little bit of cloud cover. That would be nice.
Look at that. That's
look at those guns.
Thank you.
All right.
And a quick
all right, everybody show their arms.
Nah, all right, put those away. Before we play a quick ad, we're gonna play this super chat, no? Or
yeah.
Oh yeah.
From Uzi666. Can't wait for the tailgate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gonna be a good time. And make sure you pin tweet on our Twitter profile. Make sure you RSVP so we can give an accurate food count for Firewater Barbecue. Appreciate everyone who's already RSVP'd. And see you all on the 28th. All right. Firewater Barbecue, the official taste of Southside Sox fans and a proud sponsor of the BumCast. Whether you're tailgating at Guaranteed Rate Field with the Bums or grilling at home, Firewater Barbecue has you covered with slow-smoked, award-winning barbecue made fresh every day. With 5 great Chicagoland locations, Crest Hill, Geneva, Elmhurst, Elsip, and New Lenox, it's easy to get your fix of authentic barbecue all season long. Try the Southsider sandwich, piled high with slow-smoked pulled pork and Angus beef brisket on our signature country bun, served with hand-cut fries. Or dig into our award-winning baby back ribs, hand-selected and slow-smoked over hickory and applewood for hours. Finish with the glaze of our signature Sweet Home Chicago sauce that's perfect fall-off-the-bone bite. Hosting a game day party? Firewater's got you covered with crowd-pleasing party platters like the baby back rib platter, jumbo smoked wings, thick-cut rib tips, or the Chi-Town 3-meat party platter featuring rib tips, jalapeno brats, and smoked wings. Plus, all of our signature regional barbecue sauces are made all natural ingredients and no preservatives. Choose from Sweet Home Chicago, Texas Heat, Alabama White, Carolina Vinegar, and Georgia Mustard to customize your meal. Firewater Barbecue, where great baseball meets great barbecue. Stop by any of our locations or order online today. Tell them the Bum sent you.
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum.
You call me a bum? My man, I take that with pride, with honor, that I'm a bum. I'm the king of the bums, baby.
Because you're training like a damn bum, you know that? Bum. A bum.
Bum. Time for those to Bums and Beats. But before that, going into the final stretch, we got Stephanie still holding on. She reclaimed her crown. First place, queen of the comments. Good job, Stephanie. In second place is the boy Joey P. So can he overtake the crown? And coming into third place is Missy. All right, we're gonna see who's gonna close.
I'm not
on top.
I'm not arguing. However, like YouTube does this algorithm for the rankings. I'm pretty sure Joey P is asleep. He hasn't commented for like the last 30 minutes. What are we doing here?
I'm also pretty sure Missy's high right now as well too. So
yeah.
See,
starting off, Jeff Bartlett, MVP, all the good dads. That is correct. Happy Father's Day to you, Tree, on the panel. And Bum of the Week, all the deadbeat dads. That's right, Doug. You had deadbeat dads as in your tournament last year. Yeah. Oh, Joey P's awake.
He's awake.
There you go. He's back.
All right, next up we got Joey P, Bum of the Week. The squeaky seats at Comiskey Park. Yes, they gotta fix those, man. Peter, you gotta see get some WD-40, my man. Do God's work.
The Pope Mass was a problem because, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, but when you go to Mass, there's a lot of standing up, sitting down, standing up, sitting down, maybe a little bit of kneeling. Nobody was kneeling on Saturday. There's no room. But there's a lot of squeaking at the rate.
Yeah. Everyone during the Pope's Mass was greeted by an awful squeak every time we had to stand and sit, get some WD-40. Exactly. MVP gets for trading away Andrew Vaughn. Pleasantly surprised they got someone back in return, as you mentioned earlier, Peter.
Yeah, give Chris Getz his flowers.
Yep.
What a time to be alive.
Sockside Boys, bum of the week. AK for not allowing the Knicks to try and poach Billy, the compounding the stupid by reporting and extending him. That blew my mind, is that someone actually wanted Billy Donovan, potentially, and AK said, no, we're going to take the we're going to stick in mediocrity. Typical fucking Reinsdorf move. Oh,
My gosh, crazy.
MVB, Dougie, for hurrying home after his vacation to entertain the peoples.
Good job. Good job.
We're clapping for him doing his job.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, unpaid job.
Unpaid,
Doing
yeah.
his job.
Do your job. Hey, he's available. King Ass, MVB, PTO, bum of the week, returning from PTO. Couldn't agree more.
I feel that one.
Are you back at work tomorrow morning?
Yep.
You didn't give yourself a buffer day? Are you not a proponent of like the buffer day in between vacation?
No, I couldn't take day number 20.
Yeah, that would have been tough.
You're right there, Dougie. You're peeling a little bit.
Yeah, peeling
Yeah.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you started talking about work and I started itching.
Next up, Janine Marie, MVB, off on Monday. Yep. Like that. Bum of the week, getting a Google Meet invite for 6:30 p.m. on said day. That's just criminal right there. Yeah.
Tough.
Sidney Brown, MVB, Shane Smith picking up the lone win versus Astros last Tuesday. Yeah, thank you, Shane Smith. We all love Shane Smith Day. Giants trading for Rafael Devers, and RIP to Sly Stone and former BET and MTV VJ Amanda Lewis.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Ananda Lewis was a
Ananda,
name.
sorry.
Yeah, Ananda Lewis was a name I hadn't heard in
Yeah.
20,
Oh, wow.
30 years.
Yeah.
But she was like a staple of my childhood on MTV. Yeah, and she was very young to pass away. I believe she was 54.
52 or 50.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Sad story. But yeah, she was a staple of my youth. And yeah, we didn't really get to talk about the Rafael Devers trade, but that was fucking bananas. I mean, it was basically the Luka Doncic trade of MLB baseball.
Yep.
Can I tell you something? This was the first tweet that I saw when I turned on my phone after the plane. I thought Sylvester Stallone died, dude.
I did the same thing. I saw
Yeah.
the tweet because you know how like when you get an alert, like when if we get tweets for the Bums, you know, on my iPhone, it kind of like shows up like as a preview or whatever,
Yeah.
and it just like my eye just said R.I.P. Sly Stone, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Sly in the Family Stone, baby.
Yes, Sly.
Yeah.
Albert, MVB, Mavis, aka Fat Baby. That's a cute little pupper.
That does.
I think he's trolling people with that promo.
Yeah.
That's all right. It's a pupper. I'll allow it. Friend Brett, MVB, holes 4 through 9 on my Thursday round. Bum of the week, holes 1 through 9 on my Tuesday round, and holes 1 through 3 on my Thursday round. A lot of hole talk, and
I hope he's
talking.
I hope he's talking golf. I mean, I believe he's
looks like it.
Yeah, I believe Brett's a single man, so maybe not.
Yeah.
Who knows? Good for you either way.
Bachelor.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Congrats on the sex. Mailman Jack, MVB, my nephew Russ and my niece-in-law Keely's outdoor wedding reception last Saturday. Full open bar, tub full of Modelo's and Miller Lights, cookie wedding cake, and all the accoutrements. Spectacular.
Ooh, that looks good.
Yeah, good job. Better than
like
your better than your Mormon wedding.
Yeah, so it was like the polar opposite of weddings that Mailman Jack was at. The Mormon wedding where there was no alcohol or coffee or caffeine, and then he's got a trough full of beers, Miller Lite, and then it gets cut off, but that's a whole nother section of Modelo's on that side. And I thought to myself, Mailman Jack's family must be way more well-behaved than my dad's side of the family, because if we had a trough full of Modelo's, you know someone's pissing in there at the end of the night. So hopefully that didn't happen.
I was going to say that was a legit cookie cake too, dude. Like it had layers.
Yeah,
I think it was pretty cool. Never seen that.
And bum of the week, going back to work tomorrow after 11 days off. Dougie can relate. Sad trouble. All right, that is our listener bums and MVBs. Johnny, kick us off.
So I'm going to do 2 MVBs. First one is Windy City Sports Cards. I actually won their giveaway.
No collusion.
No collusion. Yeah, no collusion. You won
But I
that fair and square.
got fair and square. Roma Duze.
Oh, Romeo Dunes.
Rated rookie, man. I like these Don Russ cards now. And then my second one is my daughter Avery for her the Father's Day gift that she gave me. She built this Lego thing here.
Ooh. Oh, that's cool.
And it's a vinyl record player. Obviously, she knows I love vinyl, and actually, if you spin it around, the vinyl actually, starts spinning. So she worked really hard on this. So I got, I appreciate the gift.
Smarter than me, because I couldn't figure out how to do that by myself without an instruction book.
I'm like literally looking at all this stuff right now. This looks hard as shit. Like this looks like this was hard to like put together. So kudos for her putting that together. So I love you, Avery. Thank you. And then my bum of the week is Nick Fortes. He is a catcher for the Miami Marlins. And I know we don't have the video or anything.
I got it.
Oh, you don't?
I got
Okay,
it.
perfect.
Around the horn and the throw down to second, and it got him in the head on the throw from Fortes, and down he went.
Ryan Weathers, man, he got hit in the head. He's a pitcher for the Miami, like I said, Miami Marlins. Pitched 3 innings after he was struck in the head by catcher Nick Fortes, thrown to second base after the final warm-up pitch before the bottom of the first inning on Saturday. So, brother, you got to throw up a little bit higher, not hitting your pitchers because obviously you need them to pitch games. So, I know obviously it was a total accident, but he was throwing like what's this guy's name from the second major league too with that catcher. Like he had a hard time throwing to second base.
I'm trying to think what his name is.
Yeah, Rue. Yeah. I think his name was like Rue or something like that.
Yeah, Rude Baker. Baker.
Yeah.
Yep. For all size.
All
right, Dougie, you're up.
All right. My bum of the week goes out to Barstool's Nicky Smokes. Nicky Smokes was he was invited to the finals game with Marlin Man, and it was set up whole super elaborate thing with Big Cat and everything like that. Got him on the glass, and with a little bit under a minute left in the game, he videotapes himself throwing his rally towel over the glass and onto the ice, and the towel is sitting there flat, and it fell logo side down, so all you see is just white, and a player really could have gotten hurt on that. Not only was it a total asshole move to throw something on the ice while play is happening, but also you videotaped yourself doing it and felt proud enough doing that and posting it. The levels of stupidness that Nicky Smokes is like continually doing, and I've talked with the dude in person. He's a decent dude. He's cool, but he doesn't help himself. And it like doing stupid shit like that, he could have seriously hurt a player with how fast those guys are skating and everything like that. Could have easily blown out an MCL or an ACL. I don't get it. I don't understand why he felt proud enough of that to post it. But anyway, he's my bum of the week on that.
Yeah, the video was scary because when you mentioned it, I didn't see it until after you had texted the group. And I just assumed like he threw his towel on the ice, maybe like 8 seconds left, or like, like right as the game was ending.
During commercial, like when there's like the
dude, he threw that thing, and then like there was players like skating right by it, and I was like, holy shit. But you can't have that. They should probably ban him from the stadium at that point for doing that. But my argument, and like people in the comments that typical Nicky Smokes, Nicky's not that bright. We're talking about it, and people continue to talk about it, and that's exactly what he wants. Like I feel like everything Nicky does, and like we mentioned, we talked about him, and we met him at the opening day tailgate last year. I feel like it's all part of the Nicky Smokes persona, and that getting somebody hurt is a problem.
Yeah.
but I feel like he knows what he's doing when it comes to like.
So he's trying to be like
engagement.
Logan Paul.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of like the engagement things.
Yeah, it was for me was super upsetting, just especially seeing how hard these players are playing, and it is the peak Stanley Cup final. Could you imagine if one of those players got hurt over something stupid like that in the Stanley Cup final? I mean, it's just it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that or whatever. So he's my bum of the week for that. I have no other bums. I'm just gonna MVP my family because it was just an awesome trip. It was a trip of something that memories are made of and everything like that. And I cherish those type of moments, and that's what I work hard for. So they're my MVPs. So they made a special couple of weeks for me.
Very nice. Good to have you back, though.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go next. My MVP is surprisingly going to be Justin Turner for his big ball. Big balls that made the broadcast.
Hell yeah. Truck nuts.
Yeah, that was good. Love whenever you can sneak something prosthetic into the broadcast. So shout out for that, MVP. I got 2 bums of the week here. First one, again, I mentioned it. I bummed Benetti last week because of his annoyingness. And again, I got stuck with the Rangers color commentary broadcast again. They're not. I'm bumming the broadcast team. They're bad. I'm trying to look up real quick what the guy's name is because I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Typing is not my forte today. Mike Baksick. There we go. Sorry, Mike Baksick. He's bad. He was basically just hating on the White Sox the entire broadcast. And I feel like, yes, you can be a homer, whatever, but he was actually like the game against when they were pitching against, when they were playing against DeGrom, he was basically like, oh yeah, DeGrom's going to get chased out here right now. No, he didn't, but he was just like talking like shit like that. And I'm just bumming him for that because it was a hard watch. Rangers need to do better color commentary on that.
That sucks.
My other bum of the week, Antonio Brown. He had a very derogatory tweet at Caleb Williams today, and he used a slur, and I'm not going to say in the broadcast, but if you want to see what he said about Caleb Williams, you can check out his page. But my dude, I'm going to say my dude because he's not my dude. He's a fucking asshole. You got more important things to worry about right now with a potential murder charge. So maybe keep Caleb Williams out your fucking mouth.
CTE ESPN.
Got nothing. I didn't even hear about it. I'll have to go look.
I sent the tweet in the group chat.
Okay,
so
I'll have to check it out.
All right, Peter, you're up. Close us out.
All right, a couple MVPs. I've been out, on the internet streets spreading the good word of the Chicago sports bums. So my first MVP goes out to everyone on the Hallis Huddle. They had me on. We filmed an episode yesterday that came out today. We did a Mount Rushmore again, not a unique bit, but we did our top 4 Chicago Bears icons. So it was all Chicago Bears related. It was a shit ton of fun. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. The video dropped today in the morning on YouTube. So if you guys go to the Hallis Huddle YouTube page, you can watch it there. It's just an hour of just nonsense and some Chicago Bears talk. It was a lot of fun. Our guy, Rob Shores Jr., he was playing the heel for some reason. He thought like, I'm just going to be contentious to everyone's pick. And it actually worked because then it ended up being a lot of fun. So check that out. And then my second MVP is to everyone at Fox 32 Chicago Now. I was on Chicago Now again on last Tuesday, talking about the White Sox and the Pope. And I've come to realize I really like doing those things. So if they have me, I will keep saying yes. It was a lot of fun. So thank you to everyone there. We appreciate, and then they put up the shirt. I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't have it planned ahead of time, but when we started talking about the Pope, They put up the Chicago White Sox Pope shirt that we have on sale. So, that's a nice little plug for us. So thank you. Yeah, HBIC, and I forgot the MVP, St. Lawrence. I was about to say St. Louis because I'm reading like fucking Ron Burgundy. But yeah, St. Lawrence baseball team for winning the IHSA.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. And then, so yeah, my bum of the week, we'll close us out with this. I saw this late last night, but I watched a couple videos on it. So Nessa is a Latin American Mexican artist. She did the Star Spangled Banner at the Dodgers game. She sang it in Spanish. So for people that don't know, Teddy Roosevelt commissioned a Spanish version of the Star Spangled Banner that should and could be sang at events. She chose to sing it, even though the Dodgers told her not to. And the Dodgers, having the biggest Hispanic, fan base in Major League Baseball, maybe all of sports, told her and asked her not to do it, and she did it anyway. And it was mostly well received within the stadium. That took some balls. So MVP to Nessa, but bum of the week, the Dodgers specifically, and anyone that had a problem with it. Because if you had a problem with that, that's really showing your colors, because that Star Spangled Banner was commissioned by Teddy Roosevelt and is a part and should be a choice that people can make when it comes to like events like that. I thought it took a lot of courage. It took a lot of guts, and it's something, take away like the protests and everything else that specifically for her to do, and knowing that she was going to get all of the hate and maybe, blackballed from MLB or anything else, maybe the Dodgers, and doing it anyway. I thought that was a ballsy decision and something that should be celebrated instead of, being brought down.
Excuse my ignorance on this. Is it like the same lyrics? Just
exactly. Yeah. So obviously it doesn't translate 1-to-1, but it is the same sentiment and the same lyrics. Teddy Roosevelt commissioned one in Spanish and one in Portuguese. Since then, I believe there's
Portuguese,
and there's also one in Polish. I believe there's also one in Polish that was commissioned later.
Okay.
They're supposed to be, in case you want to do it in that language instead of the United States, but it's still there to honor the United States of America. But in this day and age, people had a problem with it, and obviously the Dodgers were one too. So bum of the week, the Dodgers, and anyone who had a problem with it, because if it's, I'll tell you right there, if it's anything's commissioned by Teddy Roosevelt, it's good in my book.
Oh, I'm gonna dig for some bullshit he.
Except for
Teddy,
right?
All right, and last bum of the week, Michael Clark. Michael Clark Duncan.
Motherfucker!
Oh my gosh, dude!
You know what?
All right, shout out Stephanie. She is queen of the comments tonight. Followed by number 2 Joey P, number 3 Missy. Thank you 3 for being top commenters of the show, and thanks to everyone else who liked, commented, super chatted us. We appreciate you all. Make sure you RSVP for Whiskey Comiskey June 28th, and we will see you, most of you, tomorrow for a little birthday bash at the park and maybe some $5.
Oh yeah, MVP the birthday boy.
Yeah,
MVP the birthday boy tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. So
I'll be there.
Happy birthday, Beef Loaf.
Yeah,
Yes.
We'll see you. We'll see some of you tomorrow. Rest of you, we'll see you next week.